What's going on? So I wanted to make a video. Some people may think this is crazy, though I guess the crazy ones are really the sane ones, and the ones that are sane are, well, you know. So I wanted to make this video, and I base everything off of experience, not science, of is water truly hydrating? And I also would give some specific examples from other things that I've heard, but I will state that, and I'm going to base this off experience. I'm a raw dude, I'm a real dude, and I'm here to give it to you. So when your body loses, first I want to start off when I noticed I wasn't getting hydrated years ago when I'd play basketball and just do sports and that. Of course, I drank pop, you know, a bunch of sodas. My stepdad worked at freaking Pepsi, so I would get expired pop all the time. Not like it mattered if it was expired or not, but I would drink that all the time, so I had my fair share of pop for sure. Then going to 7-Eleven and buying all their bullshit too, which is detrimental. Drinking all this pop and even Gatorade. So I'd be playing sports, you know, or just out in the sun doing activities, and I'd be drinking this, and I'd be like, this isn't hydrating me at all. This is making me more thirstier. And that's when I got rid of all the pop, all the soda. It's not even that it was a taste thing. It was just, it wasn't hydrating me. My body was telling me something. So I threw all that out the door. It was nothing to do with sugar rushes, because I didn't feel them or I didn't notice them at the time. Of course, this was when I was younger, and just the detrimental effects, I really didn't do that. I did it for more of a hydration reason, so it wasn't a logical thing. It was just a feeling, and that just goes to show you right there. So come to around where I'm at now, I got full of toxins and poisons and mercury. I had my fillings removed, and water at the end of the day is not hydrating in its form at all, and it really can't be. And I know the true definition, if you look it up, of water, it's a solvent, which is, it just dissolves things. It doesn't, I don't even know what that word necessarily means, but if you want to look at the definition, and I've had people tell me that too in Reddit, it just doesn't hydrate you like you think it would. And a lot of, now there's two types of people. There's kind of three really. There's people that they definitely know this, that water doesn't hydrate them. Then there's people who say it, but to me they don't have any experience with it, because it's easy to tell when someone's telling the truth. And I'm gonna make a video about this. I'm not going to go into depth about it, but if you're alive and you're to your senses, you can tell when someone's telling the truth, and they don't need to emphasize necessarily, but you'll feel it. It's as simple as that. So again, there's people who know that water doesn't hydrate you. Then there's people who say it, but you have to experience water not hydrating you, which is what I'm going to get to. And then of course there's people who have no clue. So I was actually debating if I wanted to make this video, because it can be memorizing in a way and really funny, especially with all the propaganda that you learn and all the stuff. If I really wanted to make the video, because it's just like, I'm so dehydrated, you wouldn't believe how dehydrated I am. And then I did dry fast where I went multiple days without drinking water, dehydrated. And that's because I was really ill from all the toxins and the poison, mainly the mercury, and somewhat from the food leading up to it, which was a vegan diet and a bunch of bullshit basically. Not to mention all the other toxins that I already had stored in my body. I couldn't eat anything and I couldn't drink anything when I got really sick. So even when I did my water fast and I drank water for 6 days, it was horrific. Even though I had revelations at it and I felt real euphoric, no matter how much water I drank, it did not hydrate me at all. Not one bit. It didn't at all. In fact, when I drink water, it dehydrates me more. It makes me more thirsty. I'm saying this at a, I like to raise awareness. Also, I'm going to gain views, well, however many I do, but I also like to spread the truth, because you're lied and you're manipulated. The reason why you're told to drink water, there's 2 reasons. There could very well be 3. And I don't mean to jump like from place to place. We'll go back on my experience in a second. 1, they want to sell you water. That's why they put it in bottles and they tell you to drink an excess amount of water. And eventually, no matter what, everything always destroys you. But when you drink water and pour water on anything, what happens? And you can see erosion on rocks, the Grand Canyon, creeks, anywhere where there's water erodes, and then it makes things rust. It's inevitable about it, and it happens all the time. So this is where you can get an environmental and maybe think about it logically, because it's really hard to experience this to a degree, because your body has to really be toxic and have to have a lot of just depleted of minerals and everything, and usually a fat deficiency, not having enough fat, because that is the key. It's actually, well, there's 2 keys, and one of them would be eating food with water in it, because water itself is nothing. That's what I noticed, because my body didn't want water. No matter how dehydrated I was, and I was so dehydrated, it was refusing water. Even when I drink water, I still shake. Water's the hardest thing for me to consume, even harder than food. Even if I'm dehydrated, water is not satisfying, and it definitely isn't hydrating. The reason being is because there's nothing in water. It's a solvent. There's no substancy, and there's nothing in it at all. Purely nothing. It's not. Just look at it. Of course, when you're younger and stuff, you don't realize this. Again, the reason why they want you to drink water is because they're making profits off it. Especially, it's an industry. They're making profits off of it. And 2, they chemically, especially nowadays, they are polluting the water. So they're going to tell you to drink more to make you more sicker, more quicker. And they want to erode your body and kill you faster, as I was saying about the erosion, what water does. Put water in anything and see what happens. It erodes it, and it destroys it, and it breaks it down all the time. Your body actually most prominently promotes fat in its raw form, animal fats and plant fats, but it prefers fats. And a great example of this is when I eat butter or raw butter, and when I eat milk, even honey it hydrates you more than water. Water doesn't even hydrate me. It just makes me more thirsty. And I have so many examples of it making me more thirsty every time. I'm even dehydrated now, of course, but it's not it should be it's a fat deficiency, really what it is. And they don't want you to know this either. It's a fat deficiency. And again, unless you're real sick, you will never know. And while water may seem to hydrate you at some point, there's a couple reasons for this. But one of the ones would be you probably had a good life, and you probably have a lot of nutrients for them. I'm just saying good life in general, because it takes a lot to witness this, or experience it for that matter. But your body probably has a lot of minerals, especially if you don't move around a lot and you're not an active person, which is why subliminally or knowingly some people don't move around a lot or work out, and kind of like, they're not obese, but they're not a physical being that much. More kind of like gurus, spiritual people, and stuff like that for the most part. Some of them grip this, but they've never experienced it. Some have. I'd say very few people have actually experienced this. But when you have a surplus of minerals or even good minerals. Water does, it will take those minerals and put them where they need to be, but you're ultimately flushing them out. And the only way to get these minerals again would be eating raw foods and herbs, for that matter. And this is why when you cook food and you eat dry food, you have to take more water because you took the water out of it. So you want to eat water-rich foods. Now this is like another example from what I said from the beginning. I don't know exactly what it was, but to the degree of what I was saying, because there's so many examples I have for so many kind of different aspects and reasonings behind it. But when you eat water-rich foods, the water is chemically bound. Like when you would eat a banana or a watermelon, even raw meat, raw milk, vegetable juices, even blood. See, what your body wants, it doesn't even want water, it wants nutrients. If you could get nutrients in its purest form, which ironically and maybe sad to some people would be blood, because blood is just pure nutrients and pure nutrition. It may have water in it, but it's just more so the fact that it's just so beneficial for you, it's ridiculous. That's why people around the world drink blood all the time and do human sacrifices. When you cook your food, you dehydrate yourself more, and you can watch your dogs, because most people feed them dog food and canned food. They will drink water. Because why? Because they killed the food, and then they have to rehydrate themselves and the food. So that's why they drink water. Of course, there is high mineral water and naturally carbonated water that can be replenishing, but define that depending where you're at, and if you're paying a lot of money or a decent amount for the matter, it's hard to obtain that and actually get that. That's why when you eat, especially raw fruits, would probably be the most hydrating out of everything, or vegetable juices. But like I said, raw milk, raw fats are actually more hydrating, and I can attest to this and acclimate to this because I've experienced it where water wasn't hydrating me. And when I eat, even though I don't like doing sugar because my body can't handle it like that, when I eat my body would rather have raw honey or raw butter, because they actually do hydrate me, whereas compared to drinking water, it just makes me more thirstier. And again, you can feel some type of relief and replenishness if if you have a lot of minerals and stuff stored up in your body. But when you get real low, you'll understand, though most people probably won't get to that matter, but then you'll realize that it's actually the raw fat that actually hydrates you. There's actually a bunch of ways to take in water. Of course, you can get it from just breathing, but that's not going to be a substantial amount. Jesus Christ. And you can absorb water through the skin, which is different. That is a little bit more hydrating than actually even drinking the water. But again, eating foods with doesn't matter about the high water content. Any live food, unless it's a grain or a seed, it's not going to have a high water volume to it. So the grain or the seeds, but when it's, because they don't virtually have no water. But same with cheese would be the only exception. Raw cheese actually can be dehydrating. That's why you have to eat it with raw fats. So again, I feel more hydrated when I drink freaking raw honey, whereas compared to drinking water. My body doesn't even want water, especially at a time like this when I'm real depleted and I'm real dehydrated. It doesn't even want water at all. Like even though I have drank some water recently, because I wanted to really put it to the test, even though I've been eating so much fat, it feels like it's kind of doing something. But the other day I tried drinking as much water as I can. It may be amounted to somewhere near a gallon, but no. And there was weeks I didn't even drink water, like literally didn't drink water. I drank milk and other things. And when it was like 2 days ago, I tried drinking like a gallon of water, roughly, I don't know. I felt so dehydrated at the end of the day, more thirstier than I was at the beginning. It literally is dehydrating you. So what I would recommend is eating raw fats, avocado, eggs. They have to be raw, and just eating all your food raw is a good thing. Some people don't care about their health. Some people claim they know, but it's a bunch of bullshit because you have to experience it. So you can never persuade someone into this unless they're gullible and vulnerable and actually want to do this. Again, what your body really wants at the end of the day is nutrition, and there's no nutritional value in water. And again, doesn't have no fat in it either. What your body actually wants and craves is fat. So coming off of water and actually not drinking water, there's a couple ways of doing it. Well, but the better way, when you're eating raw fats, some people don't drink water and some people say it doesn't hydrate you. So at the end of the day, it is very true. It is very true. And it definitely depends on the circumstances and the person. How depleted are you? How toxic are you? Water doesn't do anything to your body except carry minerals that would already somehow be in the water, which is very unlikely unless you actually get like mineral water, or it would take minerals away. So you're either putting minerals into your body or taking them out. So water can definitely be dehydrating and at some point toxic. It really can be. And I guess that's all I'm gonna have to say about it. And it's something you have to actually experience. And people aren't gonna believe the video or other people saying it, and that's fine. But if you listen to people who eat raw foods, they do know. And whatever it is, when you eat raw foods, there is water content in them. And this is one of the specific reasons they eat them, because I'm sweating a lot. Because the water is bound to it. Water needs to bind to something that activate in your body. So if it's by itself, then it can never it doesn't really do anything. It's nothingness. There's nothing in it. And I'm just living proof of this, and I experienced it. So I thought I'd tell people. Again, a lot of people aren't going to understand because you have to experience it, but you could realize if you would eat raw fat and even raw foods, which is what I would promote, and understand. Thanks for tuning in. This was a longer video, and I have many more compositions of this or ways to go about this, but I got, I think I made the point by now. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you viewing this. Check out some of my other videos. Sub to the channel. Give me a like if you know what I'm saying or experience it. Give me a dislike if you don't give a fuck.